class, this is 12th class biology, chapter 10, microbes in human welfare, lecture number 2. Today's lecture we will discuss about microbes in chemicals, enzymes and other bioactive molecules. And second topic will be role of microbes in sewage treatment. So first let's start with different chemicals, enzymes and other bioactive molecules obtained by microbes. So here these are organic acid producer microbes. Names are given here, and these are organic acids which are produced by different microbes. So there are many microbes from which we obtain different organic acid, like Aspergillus niger. This is a fungus. So this fungus give us citric acid. Citric acid is present in the fungus Aspergillus niger. Then Acetobacter aceti is a bacteria, and it give us acetic acid. That is also an organic acid. Okay, acetic acid, Acetobacter aceti. Then Clostridium butylicum. This is also a bacteria from which butyric acid is obtained. Okay, butyric acid, butylicum. So Clostridium butylicum give us butyric acid. Then Lactobacillus is a bacteria, and from Lactobacillus we obtain lactic acid, right? This is the diagram of Aspergillus niger, which is a fungus. This is Acetobacter bacteria which gives acetic acid. Then Butylicum bacteria which gives us butyric acid, and Lactobacillus gives lactic acid. Next is alcohol, and yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae is used to produce alcohol or ethanol. This is powder form of yeast, and here you can see this yeast which is a fungi. Next are different enzymes obtained by microbes. So first is lipases, which is used in making detergent, and these help in removing oily stain from laundry. So lipases are the enzymes used for making detergent and also to remove the stain from laundry, from the clothes. Then pectinases and proteases are some other enzymes which are used to clarify bottled juices. Like you see, the juices that you make at home are not so clear, but the bottled juices are more clear. So these bottled juices are clarified with the help of enzymes pectinases and proteases. Next is medicinal use, like streptokinase, which is produced by Streptococcus, a bacteria. Okay, Streptococcus bacteria gives us streptokinase enzyme, which is used as a clot buster. Clot buster to remove clots from the blood vessel of patient who have myocardial infarction. I hope you remember about the myocardial infarction. That is a heart disease in which arteries get blocked. Okay, so clots are formed inside the arteries. That's why arteries got blocked. So those clots are removed here with the help of enzyme streptokinase. That's why these are called clot buster, because these help in bursting the clots which are present inside the artery. Okay, so this clot formation inside the artery lead to myocardial infarction, right? So Streptococcus gives us streptokinase which works as clot buster. Next is cyclosporin A. So all these are some bioactive molecules obtained from different microbes and are used for medical purpose. So cyclosporin A is produced by Trichoderma polysporum, that is name of a fungus. So Trichoderma polysporum gives us cyclosporin A, and this cyclosporin A is used as an immunosuppressive agent. Immunosuppressive agent means it reduces or it suppresses our immune power. Now in which case we need to suppress our immune power? Whenever there is organ transplantation. Okay, so when organ transplantation is done, what happen, our body immune system becomes active, and it try to reject that organ, right? Now there is a need to suppress the immune power, so that we can inhibit the rejection of that transplanted organ. That's why in those cases immunosuppressive drugs are given. So cyclosporin A is a immunosuppressive drug or immunosuppressive agent, you can say. The next is statins, and statins is produced by Monoscus purpureus, that is also a fungi. Okay, it is a yeast. So Monoscus purpureus gives us statins, and the statins is used as a blood cholesterol lowering agent. It lowers down cholesterol in our blood. Okay, how the cholesterol level is lowered due to action of statins? Because it inhibits the enzymes responsible for the synthesis of cholesterol. Okay, there are different enzymes present in our body which help in synthesis of different biomolecules, different substances, right? So there is a particular reaction and a particular enzyme which help in synthesis of cholesterol. So statin inhibit that enzyme, right? You have studied about enzyme inhibition in class 11, right? So that statin works by inhibiting the enzyme that is required for the synthesis of cholesterol. So we can say it is a blood cholesterol lowering agent. Next topic is microbes in sewage treatment. Now what is sewage? Municipal wastewater, okay, that is called sewage, and it contains large amount of organic matter and microbes. Now sewage is treated in sewage treatment plants, STPs, to make it less polluting, and it includes two stages like sewage treatment plant. This complete diagram is showing sewage treatment plant. So sewage is treated in such plants, and it includes two stages, primary treatment and secondary treatment. Secondary treatment is also called biological treatment. So let's start with primary treatment. Primary treatment is also called physical treatment, because here there will be physical removal of particles. So this primary treatment is completed in two steps. First is filtration and second is sedimentation. In filtration step, first step of primary treatment, removal of floating debris is done by sequential filtration. Okay, so first of all, floating debris is removed from the sewage. After that, removal of grit. Grit means a mixture of soil and small pebbles. So that grit is removed by sedimentation. Here you can see this is a chamber for primary treatment of sewage. From here sewage is coming. Sequential filtration has been done here. Then this is a grit chamber. Okay, grit will sediment here. This is sedimentation tank, and the remaining sewage part, the remaining part of the sewage will flow ahead, right? The settled solid from the primary sludge, and the supernatant form primary effluent, right? Here in the sedimentation tank, the grit will sediment here, soil and other pebble particles will sediment here, and some part will remain here, right? So settled down solid will be called primary sludge, and the remaining portion that will remain here and will flow ahead will be called primary effluent. So the remaining procedure will be with primary effluent. This primary effluent will go for secondary treatment now. So next is secondary treatment of sewage. It can be called biological treatment because microbes are used here. Some biological agents are used here for the treatment of sewage. That's why it is also called biological treatment. Now let's see how it occurs. So primary effluent, which we have obtained after the primary treatment of sewage. Okay, so this primary effluent is passed into large aeration tanks. As you can see here, this such type of aeration tanks are present. So primary effluent comes in aeration tanks and constantly agitated. it is constantly mixed, okay, with the help of the, you can see these blades, it is constantly agitated or mixed, you can say. This allows vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes. Due to agitation, there will be passage of air throughout the primary effluent, due to which there will be growth of aerobic microbes. Aerobic microbes means the microbes in which aerobic respiration occurs. So such aerobic microbes will grow here in the aeration tanks, and these aerobic microbes will form flocs. Now what are these flocs? These are bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form a mesh-like structure. So you can say a combination of bacteria and fungi. So here filaments of fungi make a mesh-like structure along with bacteria, and that complete structure is called flocs. So these bacteria and fungi are present here in the aeration tank due to the constant agitation, okay, and that will be called floc. Now what will happen, these microbes means these flocs means bacteria and fungi, these microbes consume the organic matter in the effluent, in the primary effluent, you can say, okay. So that organic matter, because it is sewage, okay, that primary effluent is we are getting from the sewage, so it has a lot of organic matter. So that organic matter is consumed by these bacteria and fungi, right? And due to consumption of this organic matter, the BOD is biological oxygen demand, okay. So biological oxygen demand of effluent will decrease. So we can say it reduces the biological oxygen demand of the effluent. Now what is this biological oxygen demand? When there is more organic matter in the effluent, there will be more biological oxygen demand. This biological oxygen demand show the pollution, you can say, okay. If biological oxygen demand is more, it means water is more polluted. If BOD is less, it means water is less polluted, right? So when the organic matter is consumed by these bacteria and fungi, BOD will decrease. It means water will become, or you can say primary effluent will become less polluted, right? So these bacteria are helping in reducing the biological oxygen demand of the effluent, and this biological oxygen demand basically is representing the number of you can say the oxygen consumed by the microorganisms present in the water, okay. So if it is decreasing, it means water is purified, okay. So it is reduced due to action of floc. So how can we define biological oxygen demand or BOD? It is amount of oxygen consumed by bacteria to oxidize all the organic matter in 1 liter water, right? So if more oxygen is, if there will be more organic matter, more oxygen will be required by the bacteria to consume that organic matter, right? So amount of oxygen that is required by bacteria to consume the organic matter represents the amount of organic matter basically in 1 liter of water, right? If there will be less organic matter, there will be less requirement of oxygen by the bacteria, right? If there will be more organic matter, more oxygen will be required by bacteria to consume that. That's why we can say BOD is representing the organic matter present in water, okay, or the pollution state of the water, right? So BOD is a measure of organic matter present in water, that it is less or it is more. So the greater the BOD, more is its polluting potential, means water is more polluted. The effluent is then passed into settling tank. Effluent after the action of flocs on it, right? In the aeration tank, the flocs have acted on the primary effluent. Now this effluent is passed into settling tank. And in settling tank, bacterial flocs are sediment. right? You can see here in the aeration tank there will be presence of flocks. So primary effluent is coming here in the aeration tank and flocks are acting on that. Now after the action of flocks here in the aeration tank, this effluent will be passed to the settling tank, and in the settling tank there will be sedimentation of bacterial flocks. So flocks will sediment here, right? And these sedimented flock are called activated sludge here. So these sedimented flocks are present here, which are called activated sludge. Now a small part of activated sludge is pumped back into aeration tank to serve as the inoculum. So some small part of this activated sludge is taken and is passed to aeration tank to act as inoculum. Now I hope you know about the inoculum. Means this inoculum is used to start the growth of bacteria and fungi in the aeration tank. As we are saying that a mesh of bacteria and fungi is formed in aeration tank due to agitation. Okay, but from where these bacteria and fungi are coming? We are taking inoculum from activated sludge. Okay, and because of the presence of that inoculum, means already some bacteria and fungi are present in the aeration tank, and those are increasing their number. Okay, those are increasing their population. That's why those large amount of flocks is formed inside the aeration tank. So we can say for the inoculum we are using small amount of activated sludge. Now what happens with the remaining amount of the activated sludge? The remaining sludge is pumped into large tanks called anaerobic sludge digesters. So sludge digestion takes place here in next tanks. Okay, so the remaining sludge is pumped into large tanks, and these large tanks are called anaerobic sludge digesters. Here inside the anaerobic sludge digesters, some anaerobic bacteria digest the bacteria and fungi in the sludge by producing gases like methane, H2S and CO2. These gases form the biogas. So these are components of biogas, you can say. So what happened here? The remaining sludge is pumped into anaerobic sludge digesters, and inside these anaerobic sludge digesters some anaerobic bacteria work on it. Okay, so these anaerobic bacteria will digest the bacteria and fungi, or you can say the flocks, right? Anaerobic bacteria will use the bacteria and fungi, the mesh of bacteria and fungi, and will digest them. And with the help of the digestion, these anaerobic bacteria also release some gases, and these gases are biogas. Okay, so CH4, H2S and CO2, these gases are produced by the action of anaerobic bacteria while these are digesting the flocks, and these gases are biogas. So the effluent is released into natural water bodies like rivers and streams. Okay, so this we are talking about the remaining part of the activated sludge. Now what happened with the upper portion? Means we are treating the sewage. Okay, so the remaining portion means which is above the activated sludge, what happens with that? That is called effluent, and that effluent is released, means the secondary treatment has been done here in the sedimentation tanks, and after the secondary treatment this effluent is released into natural bodies like rivers and streams, right? Here you can see the sludge digestion. This is dried, and dry sludge finishing is done here. Here the anaerobic bacteria work on the flocks, and methane gas is produced here. It means biogas is produced here by the action of anaerobic bacteria. Now these are overall steps of secondary treatment. Here these are to revise the secondary or biological treatment, that how it has occurred. Okay, so in starting, after the primary treatment of sewage, we have primary effluent, right? This primary effluent is passed to aeration tank. Now in aeration tank, constant agitation is done, and due to this constant agitation there is formation of flocs, that is aerobic bacteria in flocs consume organic matter, right? Flocs are formed inside the aeration tank, and these flocs have bacteria with the filaments of fungi making a mesh like structure. So those flocs consume organic matter present in primary effluent, right? So due to consumption of organic matter, biological oxygen demand reduces. So decrease in biological oxygen demand will be there. After that, what is done? Effluent is passed to settling tank. After the reduction of biological oxygen demand, this effluent is passed to settling tank. Inside the settling tank, flocs sediment to activated sludge. Flocs will sediment there and activated sludge is formed. Now small part of this activated sludge is taken as inoculum to pass it into aeration tank, right? And the remaining part is passed to anaerobic sludge digester. Inside the anaerobic sludge digester, anaerobic bacteria digest the sludge, or you can say the flocs, and biogas is produced, right? And this effluent which has come here from the aeration tank inside the settling tank. So the sediment part has become the activated sludge, and the remaining upper portion is effluent, and that is passed to natural water bodies, right? So it is how the treatment of sewage is done with the help of microbes. So this is called secondary treatment or biological treatment of sewage. Now some important points are: the Ministry of Environment and Forest has initiated Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan to save from water pollution, to save these rivers from water pollution. I hope you all are aware with the condition of Ganga and Yamuna, the sacred rivers of ours, right? So Ministry of Environment and Forest has initiated Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan, under which many sewage treatment plants have been implanted, so that only treated sewage can be passed to these rivers from different areas, okay, so that we can save these rivers from pollution. Now based on today's topics, your homework is NCERT question number 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now let's discuss the homework solutions of previous lecture, and this is the answer for question number 1 of NCERT. That what sample we can use to demonstrate the presence of microbes in it. So to demonstrate the presence of microbes with the help of microscope, curd will be appropriate, right? Because it can be used as a sample, as it contains plenty of lactic acid bacteria or lactobacillus. These are the bacteria that produce acids. These lactobacillus bacteria produce lactic acid, and this lactic acid coagulate and digest the milk proteins. So 1 spoon of curd can consist of millions of bacteria, millions of lactobacillus bacteria, right? So these bacteria can be observed easily under a microscope. Next is answer for question number 2 of NCERT, and here the answer is given: microbes release gases during metabolism. Some examples are given here. First is Methanobacterium. So Methanobacterium observed in anaerobic sludge digesters, as you have studied here in this lecture today. So Methanobacterium observed in anaerobic sludge releases methane along with hydrogen gas and carbon dioxide. So all these gases are released by Methanobacterium during the digestion of flocs. Okay, the process of fermentation of cheese, dough and production of beverages also releases carbon dioxide, and the microbes involved in the process in all these processes are Propionibacterium, as you know it is used for making cheese, and lactic acid bacteria for making curd, and also Saccharomyces yeast for making dough, for for the useful food items, right? So all these microbes release gases. Next is answer for question number 3 of NCERT. We can find lactic acid bacteria in curd. The question is that where we can find lactic acid bacteria. So we can find it in curd. Some of the useful application of this bacteria the lactobacillus bacteria are: it causes an increase in vitamin B12 level of curd, right? Due to action of lactic acid bacteria, there is increase in vitamin B12 level. So we can say it is increasing the nutritional value of curd and nutritional value of milk. So, next is it can be used to ferment or culture food. Lactic acid bacteria can also be used for the fermentation process. Also, another use is they check the health of gut because these can check the bacteria present in the stomach. Okay, the harmful bacteria can be killed with the help of action of lactic acid. So we can say it check the health of our gut. Next is answer of question number 4 of NCERT. Some Indian food made of wheat, rice and Bengal gram are given here, which are made with the help of microbial actions, right? So here idli and dosa, which are traditional food of South India, these are made from rice and Bengal gram, right? Idli is made by rice and dosa is also made with the help of Bengal gram. So these are made by dough, which is made by action of bacteria. So it is fermented by the action of bacteria. That fermentation action for making the dough for idli and dosa is done by bacteria. Next is vada. Vada is an Indian dish, is a popular snack or breakfast recipe, you can say, made of Bengal gram. So Bengal gram is used for making vada, and here it is fermented by action of bacteria. So the dough for vada is also made by action of bacteria, because for the fermentation bacteria are used here. Next is one of the other food item that is extensively used is bread. So you all know that for making bread, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, that is called baker's yeast, is used. Okay, with the help of with the action of this yeast, bread are made.